There's a genre entitled nunsploitation, which is pretty much just nuns becoming evil or anti-heroes or whatever. The nun from the Conjuring franchise is one example. You know exactly what you're getting with a movie called Killer Nun. Uncut, uncensored, unholy. Legendary Swedish sex bomb Anita Ekberg, La Dolce Vita, stars as Sister Gertrude, a cruel nun who discovers depraved pleasure in a frenzy of drug addiction, sexual degradation, and sadistic murder. Joe D'Alessandro, Andy Warhol's Frankenstein. Lou Castel, A Bullet for the General. Alida Valli from Suspiria. Hey. And the luscious Paola Moore from Behind Convent Walls, co-star in this notorious nunsploitation based on actual events that took place in a Central European country not many years ago. That's coming up in a minute. Brandon is as obscene around the world and banned outright in Britain. Killer Nun has finally been completely remastered from original Vault elements and is now presenting all of its blasphemous sex and violence fully restored for the first time ever in America. No subtitles though. Yeah, she gives a dang. Nita gives the best performance that she can here. Because after surgery, she is like, she's the mother superior? No, but she's like the head nurse here. So she goes around and she sees a lot of, at first she's doing her job, she's caring for the nurses and everything, but with the surgery that happens, it messes with her, and it starts to change her personality. She starts getting upset at some of the residents that were there. It's like when with some of the noise, it starts to mess with her, and to rebel, they push their food forward, saying, "We do not like your attitude that's going on right now, Sister Gertrude. We dislike it." And there's another nun who is sexually attracted to Gertrude, and it's like you can see what's going on in the beginning and what ultimately leads up to the revelations and everything else towards the end. So there's some prayer stuff here. There's some there is some krillings going on. When there's one I noticed was that when there's one male elderly patient and he's getting some fellatio performed on him. He with another nurse, it's like eventually he gets eliminated later in quite an interesting way. And our nurse, of course, in a rather cruel way actually, there's one guy who knows what's going on crutches. She takes the crutches upstairs, and this poor guy is forced to crawl all the way up with his hands and everything. She returns, notices what's going on, and throws the crutches back down. And the poor guy has to we don't even know what happens to him, but ultimately it's just like, holy smokes, there's one particular scene where, they're doing, what was it, the Lord's Prayer or whatever, I don't know, and as Gertrude's leaning, they all zoom out and we hear the voices of the residents working in conjunction with her, so I guess that was kind of an effective shot. Ultimately, it was revealed that was indeed, as our heroine, as the antagonist, is put into solitary confinement. Yet she has a window, so they're not going to be super duper cruel. She starts to realize that she came on a bender. Everything else going on. It turns out it was the sister that was sexually attracted to her was performing all the krillings, which I found to be interesting. It's what you expect for, what is this, 87-minute film from 1978. The real person was the name Cecily Monsoon. I forgot her last name, but after brain surgery, it left her messed up, and so she craved got addicted to morphine and everything. This started to really, really mess with her, and so the patients that she was taking care of, there were starting to be a lot of untimely deaths in her wing, so a lot of the Belgian nurses compared notes and they started piecing together everything, like, like ending them prematurely, giving them way too much insulin, things like that. And here's the best part, nuns are nuns are supposed to remain celibate. Well, she had an affair with a priest and another nun, so she actually was a bisexual, murderous nun. She got discovered, pleaded insanity, and lived somewhere, and eventually died in 2019. Wow. As for Anita Ekberg, she married the what was it? She married the owner of Fiat, the cars or whatever, and also worked with Federici Fellini, the French director or whatever. But towards the end of her life, she started to become destitute and ultimately passed on. So yeah, kind of a sad story, but definitely if you want to see something interesting, I guess, that you know exactly what you're getting, a good standard movie with a decent performance, Killer Nun.